So we got our character, we got the bonds and so on. Now come the story ideas. And the thing is story ideas really devolve from characters. I said this at the beginning, I say it now, I'll say it to the end of time. All good stories come from characters. So, or rather all great stories. Let me be clear on that. So, what do we know about this waiter? Which again, we started with as a prop. Okay? No more personality than the princess in the first Kingsman movie. But now we know they're vain. We know they want money and power, or at least money. And power may be a way to get to it. We know that they have a family that's a bit of a burden. We know they have a cousin they don't trust. And they hope beyond help gets better, but they can't get rid of him. So we know they have a dog. The dilapidated beast that it is. Poor thing. So, let's develop a story. Well, where can we start? We can start anywhere. That's the advantage of having good characters, is you can have a good character be this core, be the campaign hook, be a side adventure, be something that informs the rest of your main story. All of these things stem from just knowing a little bit about someone. And again, having your players build out some of this stuff beforehand gives you the idea for adventure hooks. In one campaign I'm playing right now as a player, I have a paladin who was an ex-cultist. And so all of a sudden she is the member of a defunct children's crusade. And the DM has incorporated her backstory extensively into the campaign itself, because I wrote the backstory relatively lightly, so there is detail enough to tell us about the character, but not so much detail as to force the DM to move their campaign one way or another. And that's a key thing. If you want your characters the players create to move your campaign, and that will get them more engaged, because all of a sudden you're looking for, Bob's dad instead of, the sea genie, who turns out secretly is Bob's dad, which is actually something I did. Then nothing's better than incorporating their backstory. Okay? Or let's go on with this character. As DM, you created the character. This character, we know from the very little we've made that here are potential quests that can come from them. Most basic, babysit the cousin while they go out of town for an interview, which, by the way, would take about a week, probably, if you're talking about late Middle Ages, early Renaissance. Get the cousin out of trouble, because they've obviously gotten into trouble, let's face it. The cousin is dead. They have to bury the body, but do a weekend at Bernie's thing. Necromancers will have a lot of fun with this, as will illusionists. And of course your rogues and bards. Then the cousin has gotten in deep with the gang lord. Exterminate the gang. Turn the gang in. Do something to get rid of this. The cousin is empowered because they have blackmail material on the waiter. So the waiter wants you to do something about this, but you can't hurt the cousin because mommy and auntie will be upset. The waiter wants a better job, so they get a job offer. Let's go from there. Job offer is from someone who is a respected tradesman. There's all sorts of perils built into that. Even if the character is an upstanding citizen in good stead with everybody around them, there's still going to be competition. There's still going to be jealousies and so on. There's deals which need to be made. And so if you're doing a high-level campaign, which involves politics and less nitty-gritty, that's actually a good way to start, is you got a patron, which you've met through this waiter. Okay. Employer is a shady character, or maybe a noble who has secrets that must be kept. So, those secrets can be monetized. Those secrets can be used for blackmail. Those secrets can be cause consternation with the waiter so they feel guilty and so on. Allowing the players, again, in trade to be confessors, to be go-betweens, to be investigators, etc. Patron is a dark wizard who has to have the waiter now all of a sudden has to run errands into graveyards and hunt goblins or whatnot, in order to satisfy the unnatural lusts of the spells that the wizard is casting. Patron is a priest and therefore needs all sorts of services. So the waiter, despite being vain and inward focused, becomes a social worker of sorts, which is a wonderful conflict to have a character in a position which is in direct conflict to their ideals, goals, and self-conception. So if you want to integrate a player into something and make them feel like they desperately have to do something, you need to put them, you don't need to work on their fears, you can work on what they love and put that in opposition to what they have to do. And with that, conflict arises, and conflict is the key element of the story. And again, conflicts start with character in the most. So, there we go. Or, finally, waiters, new patron is giving them a lot of money because they're going to be going to a cult where they're going to be sacrificed. So, warlock fun. Or druid fun. So all of this is side quests and so on, which we got from one small character with one word, 2-word keys that can further develop each one in turn. Okay? So when you create a character, what you need to do is start with what they want and build from there. Start with what they fear and build from there. And then eventually you'll get to who they are, their tics, their behaviors, their flaws. Flaws are key. Never let a player have a character without flaws. Just like you would never ever let a player have a character which doesn't have a dump stat. Those are the things which really help you build a character. It might seem annoying, but that's kind of the point. You know their flaws, then you know their bonds, and from there, the rest of the story evolves. I hope you enjoyed this little short series. If there's any further interest, I'll get into plots and conflicts. I think we'll do conflicts next, if there's demand. I hope to hear from you guys. My name is Joseph Cadotte. Hopefully see you later.